Good morning. Andy Stillman just commented that he likes the change in music. And that is actually one of our very own. That was Langhorne Slim. It's Kiko Molitor, John Molitor's wife. That's her brother. So check it out. Yeah, very talented musical family. So there you go. Very chic. Yes. So good morning. Happy February 15th. I hope everyone had an amazing Valentine's Day. We're going to go ahead and kick off team meeting this morning with some compliance updates from the sheriff herself, Miss Joni Reed.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I had a lovely Valentine's Day. I didn't have to cook dinner. But we're starting off today. Most of these compliance updates that Steph and I do for team meetings are based on current issues that are coming up, current calls. And so today we're talking about the real estate condition report, because I would say in the last 3 weeks, we've had 4 situations come up with our agents in a transaction, all involving the real estate condition report, or as lovingly called, the wrecker. And it can be a wrecker, I'll tell you. So what we wanted to do today was to go back to the basics of what WRA is saying about the real estate condition report, and a review for everybody, whether you're a brand new agent or you've been practicing for a long time. First of all, it is a Wisconsin statute. This is not a real estate law. It's a Wisconsin state law. And it applies to all people selling their homes, whether they are using an agent or whether they are doing for sale by owner. So if you're working with a for sale by owner or you're talking to one, make sure that he has a copy of the real estate condition report, because it is required for him as well. The other main idea is to realize that the real estate condition report should have no fingerprints of any kind by the agent. You should not be filling out the front page for them. You should certainly not be filling out any other page for them. You basically explain the top to them and make sure that they understand that, but you don't advise them on anything, because we're not attorneys and we can't make can't give legal advice. So what we're saying is, make sure that you understand who is exempt from filling out the real estate condition report. Basically, all sellers are required, but there are certain exemptions to it. And some of the issues that we've had this week are based on the confusion over who is exempt. But this comes straight from the statute. It does not apply to personal representatives, trustees, appointed by conservators or other fiduciaries, or subject to supervision by the court. None of those representatives have to fill out a condition report for the property, but only if those persons have never lived or occupied the property. And this is where some of the confusion comes in. If someone is made a personal rep after the death of a seller, say, or a trustee in the ownership of the property, but they live there, or they grew up there, or that was their father's home or something like that, then they have to fill out the condition report. But if they never lived there, then they are exempt from it. And this is where some agents get confused, thinking, well, if I never lived there, I don't have to, I haven't moved in, or I just rehabbed it, I don't have to fill out a condition report. That's not true. And if you are the seller, you must fill it out. Another exemption for filling out the condition report is property, real estate that has never been lived in. And again, this is where some confusion comes in. If it's new construction, the seller does not have to fill out a condition report, because it has never been lived in. Another exemption is transfers exempt from real estate transfer fee. If, say, parents are handing down their property to their children with a quitclaim between spouses, if the property is being transferred in a foreclosure, then those are exempt from a condition report, because they're also not doing the transfer tax either. Those are the 3 main categories of people who are exempt. So we want to make it clear, just because somebody never lived there doesn't mean that they have to fill it out. If they are now the seller, they have to fill it out. Would you go back to the previous slide, because there's a point? Yes. The important part of this is there are some sellers who have to fill out a condition report, most of them, but they don't want to. Say somebody's rehabbed the house or it's been rented for a long time and they don't want to take on the liability of saying what they know about the house. Then they should, and you can provide them with a WRA form called the Seller Refusal Statement regarding condition or disclosure. So it's actually a form. The seller says, I'm aware that I am not exempt, but these are reasons why I am not filling it out. You may seem like it's counter marketing to do this, but I've had to use it in 2 of my listings and it's easily explained. Person has been renting this house for, 10 years and is not aware of any report or any condition of the house. And so they are saying they refuse to. But this form is necessary to exempt that seller from filling out the condition report. It's in zip form, and make sure that you pull it out and look at it. So now that's important. This is where your role comes in as the agent. Again, you don't touch the condition report at all. You don't help them fill it out, but you give it to them and say, to the best of your information, please fill this out honestly. You want to disclose as much as possible. So after they have filled it out, then you can compare it to your observations of how you see the house. If there are inconsistencies or the licensee thinks the seller disclosures are incomplete or inaccurate, the licensee would make timely written disclosures of any material adverse facts if the seller has left it out. Another important part of this statement is incomplete. It's your responsibility to look over the real estate condition report and make sure that they have marked one way or another every item on there and not to leave any item unchecked, mainly because of the rescission clause. It's at the very top of the page, that if a buyer gets a condition report and it's incomplete, they have that rescission right to rescind their offer until they get a complete report. So we've had a couple of situations based on that. It's your job to make sure that it is completely filled out. Okay. If a seller has never lived in the property, and we've had certain situations on this, say they just bought the property, they've never lived in there, and they had an inspection report before they bought it. Or they come into a property and they decide to do a pre-inspection on this property before they put it back on the market. Any information like that, any report that a contractor has done on the house, or any pre-inspection that has been done to the house, even though the seller never moved in, those properties can be attached to the condition report as evidence of what has been discovered. That's much better to do than to refuse to fill out the condition report or to not fill out a condition report. And so you can take that report and attach it if you want to, or you can take the items in that report and report those on the condition report as information. It's your job as the listing agent to really explain the benefits of full disclosure. Hiding anything gets us to sitting down at a table with an attorney. And that's not what we want to do. That's not what the firm wants to do. That's not what your clients want to do. So explain the benefits of full disclosure. It's much better to fix a basement wall, or much easier to fix a basement wall than to get sued. That's the bottom line. So that's basically it. And this is another thing, I know a lot of you do this, but say there's a defect in the property last year, the seller fixed it, and it was all corrected, you can put that on the condition report that there was a leak in the roof and the seller corrected it in May of 2021. Those are good paper trails for the information for the new buyer, and it makes sure that the seller has disclosed everything he knows about the house. It really should be a history of the house while that seller has owned it. Any questions about the real estate condition report or information that you're working with the seller, please give me or Stephanie a call, sort of bounce it off us and see what we think. Otherwise, you can call the legal hotline, but it is a very serious element to our listings, and make sure that we are following the state statute. That's the compliance report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Very important. Do not get wrecked by the wrecker, you guys.
Right.
Back to basics. All right. Because I'm a new mom, we're going to do story time today. Okay. So I don't know if many of you know the story of the Emperor's New Clothes. A lot of you might, but for those who don't, I'm going to let you know. So the story of the Emperor's New Clothes is that two swindlers arrive at the capital city of an emperor who spends lavishly on clothing at the expense of state matters. Posing as weavers, they offer to supply him with magnificent clothes that are invisible to those who are stupid or incompetent. The emperor hires them and they set up looms and they go to work. A succession of officials and then the emperor himself visit them to check on their progress. Each sees that the looms are empty, but pretends otherwise to avoid being thought a fool. Finally, the weavers report that the emperor's suit is finished. They mime dressing him, and he sets off in a procession before the whole city. The townsfolk uncomfortably go along with the pretense, not wanting to appear inept or stupid, until a child blurts out that the emperor is in fact wearing nothing at all. The people then realize that everyone has been fooled. Although startled, the emperor continues the procession, walking more proudly than ever. So, what does this have to do with real estate? 75% of our agents nationally went without a closing in the month of January. 65% of agents in our office went without a closing in January. What does that mean? That means 75% of agents did not get a paycheck in the month of January. 80%, what is the predictor of future business in real estate? Listings taken. In real estate, we say list to last. 85% of agents in our office did not take a listing in the month of January. So hang with me while I frame this up and we can get back to our emperor and learn from him. But let's take a look at two more sets of numbers because Charlie's worn off on me and now all I do is look at numbers. But in all honesty, it's important to look at the numbers. There are predictors. So let's look at a few more things before we focus on this 75 and 80. Close to 2,000 new units went on the market in the month of January in the 5-county metro Milwaukee area. And let's not forget that 51,000 new listings hit the market in 2021, which, and again, only the top 5% of the MLS, the big teams and the big agents only took 1.6%. So who was taking the other 50,000? So before you hear there's a listing problem and woe is me, I can't get any listings, or you say there were over 50,000 listings and they chose to work with someone but me. So let's learn from our emperor here. Almost even new to inventory. The absurdity of what happened is that accepting facts without question results in the truth being ignored. So the emperor and his attendants believe what the weavers tell them, and the crowd believes what their leader tells them, in spite of the total lack of hard evidence, right? That there are listings and that he in fact has no clothes on. So the emperor, the attendants in the crowd, one after another, all assume that the existence of clothes is beyond doubt. The message is that we should be critical and objective when we're examining the facts. Too many facts, which we hear in reality are merely beliefs and opinions, or even lies in the case of our emperor, and the evidence needs to be rigorously examined. Hard evidence should be what forms the basis of our facts and our truths. So even as it results in someone arriving at a conclusion, which is maybe not popular or with, the understanding of opinion, we can't be afraid to point out what's really happening, right? So who will tell the emperor he has no clothes? We don't have an inventory problem. We have a lead generation for listings problem. We have to shift our mindset to be a mindset of abundance. The issue is that when we get convinced that there is no inventory and we, the professional, keep telling the client that there is no inventory, the client is going to start to believe us eventually. So when we see all these headlines in the paper convincing us of surveys saying, no inventory, no inventory, no inventory, we have a massive problem. And we have to recognize that. And we have created it through what we're saying to those in the market. So we're perpetuating the rumor of low inventory. That does not happen on its own. And by the way, it's untrue because I just told you there's plenty of inventory. And I'm going to show you some more statistics on our local market right now when we review the months of January so that you can better communicate with your potential clients. We need to challenge your thoughts. We need to challenge your actions because whatever you choose to repeat over and over again becomes the reality. The market of the moment is going to require us to get back to basics. The market of the moment requires lead generation. We're so convinced that inventory is low. We have to talk to our database, your neighborhood, your geographic farm. Talk to people on the phone. I know it sounds crazy. Set up your 36 touch and be the informant of the truth. If you convince yourself the sky is falling, you won't make it. As an agent, you cannot believe that inventory is low or you'll never prospect. Change your mindset to change the action to then change the outcome. Same with your clients. If you say it does not matter what I eat, I will always be out of shape, you won't eat differently. It's not any different. So the first thing we have to do is we have to discuss the limiting beliefs and what is in the mindset of the client and be able to reframe to overcome that. So the more you talk about it, the more confident the market is going to become. Because to be honest, it's a great market. It's one of the best markets we've had. Americans have never had this much equity in their homes. We're still at historically low interest rates, and Americans can somewhat all work remotely in some capacity, giving them more freedom to move than ever before. So lots of places to start in terms of lead generation tactics and things like that. Our calendar is filled with them. The YouTube channel is full of them. And Diana, I'm going to switch it over to you so you can talk about another one that people might not know about in order to get them thinking about what they can do to change their mindset and outcome.
For sure. Thanks, Mandy, for sending this our way. One of the things that you had mentioned is that we have to have a mindset of abundance, gratitude, and we have to get out there and do the activities. And for many people, many of our top agents, in fact, haven't needed to directly lead gen. Their marketing is working for them and their referrals are working for them. But when you look back to the numbers that you shared, Mandy, many of our top producers, even across the country, did not have a closing or take a listing, which is why we want to elevate this. And so much of sales is a mental game, you guys. You have to surround yourself with people who are doing the work that you're doing. And, you know, their ups and downs, and how do you keep moving ahead when we just have to get comfortable being bored, right? Sometimes that lead gen work can be boring. So I want to highlight this page. I know that Charlie has talked about it. Mandy, let's go to the next. Yep. So one of the things that the Pivot Shift Ahead group has done for Keller Williams and agents across the country is create a community where people are actually talking about tactics and strategies that have worked for them. And we teach out of the MREA. We have masterminds all the time. This is what this group does on a daily basis. So if you're wondering, where do I get started? Where do I find some of the verbiage that would support my lead gen? I want to point you to our market centers for sure, our training calendar for sure. And if you get struck and you want to do something at 2 in the morning and we don't have a class then, go to Pivot Shift Ahead. Look in the files section. Take a look at what other people have posted there that are working for them. So this is a community that has daily recordings, daily conversations, masterminds, 7 a.m. for this time zone. You can either log in at 7 a.m. or you can look at the recording. They do start with abundance, gratitude, and a bit of accountability. You get to know these people on a regular basis. And then they talk about actionable steps. So I want to tease this out here. They have a strategy for first Fridays of the month that focuses on generating listings. They have a strategy for the third Friday of the month that suggests what buyers can be doing to help move their plan ahead. And then they suggest an equity analysis on the daily. So you guys, if you're wondering what any of that is, talk to me, log into the Pivot Shift page, look at the conversation, look at files, and you're ready to go. Great community. And we are excited to knock these stats that you just shared, Mandy, out of the water. I want everyone with the closing next month. So it's a great support. Just wanted to share.
Thanks, Diana. All right, you guys, next, we're going to go into more of the numbers from January now that we wrapped up January and we have all of that back. So some of the actual numbers to be able to tell your story. We're going to start with sales absorption rates. We know that sales absorption is the percent of inventory that goes under contract. 32% of inventory in January of 2022 went under contract, which is on trend with the market peaks of 2020 and 2021. Sold units, inventory is having little impact on closings. So buyers are efficiently navigating the market of the moment and writing competitive offers. And again, it's on trend with where we were, and not only last year, but even the year prior in 2020 and in 2021. New inventory units, I already snuck this one in there. Almost 2,000 new inventory came to the market in January of 2022. And this is almost even, it's only down 1.2% from last year. So it's not that different than where we were 12 months ago. Reminder, I've heard from a lot of you who are taking this training. I'm so happy to hear that. Fairhaven training, if you haven't logged on yet, fairhaven.realtor, and go ahead and do this training. A couple of you have asked if you're not an NAR member. I did find out that you can complete it as a guest. So if you don't have an NAR number and you're not a member, you can still take the training, just do it as a guest option. All right, that's what I have for the numbers. We're going to switch it over to Kathleen here to talk about some upcoming training and events this week leading up to family reunion.
Good morning, guys. So we are now into the, well, first of all, we had another round of Accelerator last week. I just want to say congratulations to those of you that were there, that listened to me talk for 4 days straight. I know it's a lot of knowledge that you gain over a short period of time, and I'm very proud of you for hanging in there. And for those of you that are seasoned veterans and you're looking for a newer agent that can help you navigate and help your clients this spring, especially as you're trying to pack showing on top of showing and writing offers. This is the newest list of agents that have shown up and have said that they're ready to learn and listen and be a part of real estate. So congratulations, guys. So we're in the third week of February now, and we have a couple of things to pay attention to. First of all, coming up today at 10:30 is Amanda and Nikki with Launch Coaching, and they're going to be going through the work-life counterbalance. So if you've ever wondered what it takes to achieve that elusive work-life balance, please come talk to Nikki and Amanda today. And then Agent to Agent is at its new date and time at 1 o'clock in Wauwatosa. Thursday, look out for productivity coaching. So Connie and Janine are going to be going through the offer writing process, including what it takes to write a really strong offer in today's market. So if you don't have experience writing winning offers, you should definitely come to productivity coaching on Thursday. And then tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 a.m., we have our CPA, Anna Klein. She's going to be on Zoom with us. This will be recorded as well. And she's going to be going through all those tips and tricks for the 1099 self-employed income. So if you haven't filed your taxes yet and want to know what you can deduct, come talk to Anna, ask her all your questions. It's a really great option to talk to an accountant live in person. And then guys, next week, Monday and Tuesday, we're going to be live streaming some of our favorite pieces of family reunion. Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. is the keynote address. And then Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. is the inspiration morning. There will be coffee and snacks from some great sponsors, Fairway Mortgage and Focus Title. So join us at any of the offices, North Shore, Innovation, Lake Country. This is in person only unless you have the digital version of Family Reunion. You can watch it on your own, but come to the office, network, have some fun and coffee with other agents.
Awesome. Thanks, Kathleen. So yeah, next Tuesday, there won't be team meeting because we'll be down here a half hour earlier at 8:30 watching Family Reunion together. So that's what we have for Tuesday, gift of time. Lake Country, I'll let you hop off to do new listings. And then just a reminder for new listings, you guys, the purpose of this is to just go over things that aren't in MLS yet. So it's anything that's coming soon. So we've had tons of people using it as a platform to advertise their listings. That's super exciting. And we're excited about all of your new listings, but this is more of a sneak peek for anything that's not visible in MLS because you all have access to everything in MLS. So we'll hop off. I'll share the screen and we can do that. And Lake Country, you can hop over to your meetup.